Those were the 5 members of the draft class. All are legit NFL players. 4 got extensions here, and the Colts are by the way, very, very happy with Matt Pryor. So for all the hits Howie Roseman takes as a drafter, you got to give him credit for 2018. The Eagles did a really nice job.
Special Saturday edition of Football 24/7 with NFL insider John McMullen across the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. Great to be back in Philadelphia after a week away. You walk right into what is perhaps the biggest game of the year on Sunday, Johnny Mac. But before we look to Sunday, breaking news, another extension by the Eagles today.
Yeah, back to back. Obviously, it was Dallas Goedert, and today it's Avonte Maddox, which is ironic because, not only the same draft class, but best friends. So many, they live together, they're roommates, and they get their extensions basically 24 hours apart. So Avonte Maddox, the Eagles slot corners kind of taken off this year. Now that he's finally settled, I think people forget when they drafted Avonte in 2018, they projected him to be an inside slot corner. And due to circumstance and injuries over the years, he's had to play at free safety. Really, that first year, people forget he came in first, got an opportunity to play at free safety, outside corner, which is not obviously his natural position. Even though he played there in college at Pitt, he's just a little bit too short to do it at the NFL level. So they finally put him in the slot, and he's really, really playing well. 3-year extension, $22.5 million, about 13, just a little over 13 million of that guaranteed. And all of a sudden, that 2018 draft, which wasn't a very big class, remember, you were still feeling the effects of trading up for Carson Wentz in 2016. And the Eagles were all in at the time coming off the Super Bowl championship. So they were more concerned about adding veteran players than draft picks. But if you look at the draft, Dallas Goedert was the second-round pick. He got extended. Josh Sweat, Avonte Maddox both get extended as fourth-round picks. Jordan Mailata gets extended as the 7th-round pick. And even Matt Pryor, who got traded in Indianapolis. Those were the 5 members of the draft class. All are legit NFL players. 4 got extensions here, and the Colts are by the way, very, very happy with Matt Pryor. So for all the hits Howie Roseman takes as a drafter, you got to give him credit for 2018. The Eagles did a really nice job.
John, what do you sense in terms of the mindset right now of the organization? I think I mentioned this to you on the One Football 24/7 report that we did this week. I feel like I walked through the door, came out the other side, and all of a sudden it's a completely different football team from a fan standpoint, from a quarterback standpoint, from a head coach standpoint, from just from the overall picture. All of a sudden is very different than what it was just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's funny what a couple wins do for you. But this has been, remember, the Eagles have been working on an extension with Dallas Goedert since really the summer. And even before that, they've always targeted him as a player they wanted to get done. His contract was a little bit more difficult because he kind of knows, and his agent, Chase Callahan, knew that if he hit the open market, he was going to be probably the highest paid tight end in football, even more than George Kittle. So he wasn't going the team-friendly route. The Eagles are kind of famous since the days of Joe Banner, really, of targeting players they want to extend early in getting team-friendly deals done. Jordan Mailata would fit into that category. Josh Sweat would fit into that category. Dallas wasn't going to fit in that category. Ultimately, he got a little bit less than Kittle when it came to an average annual value. He's third when it comes to guaranteed money behind Kittle and Mark Andrews. So he got top of the line money as expected. But from the Eagles' standpoint, if they would have waited till after the season, he probably would have got even more than that. So you could still look at it from that perspective as team friendly. And Avonte is a guy who needed to prove some things this season, and he has, and he's played very well. As I said, he's allowed one reception of more than 15 yards on about 270 covered snaps this season. So he's played very well, finally moving inside where he was always supposed to be. So I think the Eagles valued him for a couple of reasons. One, he was always willing. If they needed him at free safety, he played at free safety. If they needed him at outside corner, he played outside corner, even if that wasn't a natural position for him. Now they finally, because of signing Steve Nelson, they were able to put him inside where he belongs, and he's playing very well. And slot corner is one of those positions where you don't have to break the bank, so that helped the Eagles as well. It's just not a position that probably unfairly is kind of pigeonholed as not an expensive position, since so many teams play 3 receivers, 11 personnel. The Eagles took advantage of that and got another team-friendly deal done with Avonte Maddox, and it's just smart business. And again, I'll go back to Howie Roseman. You can criticize him for certain things. You can't criticize him for his ability to manipulate contracts, understand sort of where the league is and what the numbers should be.
Yeah, John, just a quick follow to that, just for clarity. When you say team-friendly deal, you're talking about, I don't want to say underpaying, but you're getting a deal done today that really will not hold up in another year or two. And by hold up, I mean the value or the cost will be greatly increased with each passing year. That's what you're looking at. Because when you do a redeal, Avonte Maddox, is his entire deal now guaranteed? What's the details of it?
No, there's no really fully guaranteed deals ever in the NFL. Kirk Cousins got one, but very generally they're 2-year deals. I always say for the most part. You can get out of these things after the first 2 years. So the guaranteed portion of every contract you'll hear, for instance, Dallas has the much larger contract. He signed a 4-year, $59 million extension. 37 and a half of that is guaranteed. So that's the most important part of it. For Avonte, it's 3 years and $22.5 million, I think, and just over 13. I don't have it in front of me. I think it's 13.3 was guaranteed. So again, different values, different positions. But as far as what we're saying, when I say team friendly, in other words, if Jordan Mailata didn't sign his extension and played the way he's playing and he hit the open market, he'd get a lot more than what the Eagles were agreed to. Same thing with Dallas Goedert. If he hit the open market a little bit, closer, but he would be the highest paid tight end in football. And again, I think people don't understand. That's not saying he's the best tight end in football. George Kittle probably is. Travis Kelce's still Travis Kelce. But contracts in the NFL are about timing and circumstance. In other words, you're up, you're ready for a new deal, and you're a good player at your position. You're generally going to be the highest paid player at that position, with certain exceptions. The best example of that would be Derek Carr, who, is a very good quarterback. At no stage was he ever the best quarterback or even close to being the best quarterback. But when his last contract was up, he was the first $25 million player in the history of the NFL. Now, since then, many quarterbacks, the bar always goes up. The bar's only going up farther because, remember, we're slowly getting past the pandemic. The new CBA is going to kick in really in a big way into 2023. And those salary cap numbers are just going to go up and up and up.
Well, wait till Amazon begins next year in 2022. Wait till that money starts to skew the marker. That's going to change the dynamic even for the broadcasters and the reporters. It's got a whole new dynamic, Johnny Mac, when Amazon gets involved. Football 24/7 here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. A couple of game thoughts from you, Johnny Mac. On Sunday, Saints in town, the biggest game of the season. It's always a big game. This one might be the biggest game of the year because this will tell you or tell the team whether or not they have a legitimate chance to take advantage of a crappy back half of the schedule and really legitimately get into the playoffs, or at least have a chance to get that last playoff spot.
Yeah, it depends how you want to phrase it. It's certainly not a crappy half of the schedule for the Eagles. It's great for them. But yeah, crappy teams. And it starts with the Saints, who are not a bad team, but I mean, everything is broken the Eagles' way. Alvin Kamara, we talked about on Football 24/7 earlier in the week. He was officially ruled out on Friday. Ryan Ramczyk ruled out. Teron Armstead ruled out. Generally, if you look at the Saints at the beginning of the season, their best players, Michael Thomas out. Andres Pete, who's their left guard, has already been out. Now you have the two of the five best tackles in football out. Their best skill position player out. The Eagles should win this game. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. I mean, the Saints are so banged up. They should win this game. So it's important for so many reasons, as you mentioned. If you want to be legitimate playoff contender for that last spot, winning this game helps you. You already have the tiebreaker over the Falcons. You have the tiebreaker over the Panthers. Now you would have the tiebreaker over the Saints. Your first home win, which we've talked about. They haven't won at home in nearly a calendar year. That they got to get that monkey off their back. Now, if you want to take the negative path, if they don't win this game, it's going to be really disappointing for those same reasons. You're losing to a New Orleans Saints team that doesn't have, forget about Drew Brees. They don't have Jameis Winston. Taysom Hill even is questionable in this game. Trevor Siemian's the quarterback. You don't have to worry about Alvin Kamara. You don't have to worry about Michael Thomas. You don't have to worry about the best offensive tackle tandem in the NFL. I don't even want to think about if they lose this game, but they shouldn't lose this game, Krausey.
Yeah, the Saints defense will keep the Saints in the game.
That's fair. Very good defense. Still a very good defense.
The Eagles defense should do the same. It's going to come down to the ability of somebody on the offensive side of the football to make a big play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect the Eagles to blow out the Saints, and if they do, it's going to be more of a 21-7 type game. From the perspective of, I don't think they're going to be able to score a ton of points against this defense. But the Saints just are not capable of scoring points under right now, with all the injuries and all the players missing. So they're interesting because for years, if you think about Sean Payton and Drew Brees, it was offense, offense, offense. And now they completely flipped it, and their defense is what has to keep them in games. And I do think Jalen Hurts is a unique enough player to where he's going to make a play or two in every game because of his abilities to extend plays. And I think that's going to be enough to beat this Saints team because they just don't have any firepower right now. Their best receiver is a 5'6" kick returner. And this is as easy as it gets in the NFL. They're so just crippled on the offensive side of the football. You have to take advantage of it. I mentioned it's a little bit of the same theme as last week in Denver when I mentioned, they were missing their 2 starting offensive tackles. And you have to take advantage of that. To the Eagles' credit, they did. They have to do it again this week against the Saints. They've gotten some good luck over the past couple of weeks. They're 50% there. They have to take advantage of it again.
Football 24/7 with John McMullen. We tracked him down on the road today, Johnny Mac. You're going to have to check in and watch this report of Football 24/7, and I'll tell you why. For the first time ever, I am doing Football 24/7 with a different hat than a Kango today.
Well, I see you, Krausey, so I can already see it. You can't.
Oh, okay, good. You can see. Okay, you see me. I don't see. Very good. So, good stuff but that is the first time, Johnny Mac. Good stuff from John McMullen. Again, breaking news: Eagles extend Avonte Maddox. Howie Roseman is a draft guru. He does know how to draft.
In 2018, but they'll give Joe Douglas the credit. They'll give Joe Douglas.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Johnny Mac, good stuff, man. We'll see you tomorrow for the pregame show. And then, of course, on the live postgame show, John McMullen joins Derek Gunn, Mark Farzetta, Devin Caney after the game, talking about a win, perhaps. Thanks, Johnny Mac.
All right, thanks, Krausey.
All right, see you next time.